Hello everybody, welcome again to another edition of Chat with the Chief. I'm your Chief, Jared Mills, and today I'm here with Officer Wiggin.
Hello.
Officer Wiggin's a 7-year veteran, almost 8-year veteran of the police department. Yeah. You corrected me earlier.
Yeah.
One of our best, obviously. That's why she's here chatting it up with us. She's been a school resource officer. Today we're going to talk about the new car seat law. We'll talk about a little bit of passenger restraint as well, but we want to highlight the car seat law. And Officer Wiggin has actually been one of our car seat installers and experts for the police department for the last 5 years. So there's nobody better to talk about the new law and how to install car seats and that type of thing. So come along with us and we'll talk about that. Officer Wiggin, can you tell us what the new law is in regards to car seats and children under 2 years old?
So under 2, they now need to remain rear facing up to the age of 2. The law used to be the 1 years old, but 2 years old, they need to remain rear facing before they can turn front facing. Best practice would be up to 3 years, but we understand size can get in the way of that. So 2 years old before they turn around.
Okay. And front seat, back seat, is there any law as far as that goes?
So back seat for anybody 12 years and under, they need to remain in the back seat. Age and weight and height would restrict whether or not they're in a car seat or a booster seat or some sort of child restraint.
Now, interestingly, I'm going to throw you a curveball, but we get this question a lot. What happens if there's no back seat?
There's no back seat. They can be in the front seat. Even a child passenger seat can be in the front seat, but obviously the manufacturers of the vehicles recommend that airbags be turned off and that they be positioned in a safe location in the vehicle, which you'd have to refer to your vehicle manufacturer's owner manual.
Okay, excellent. And when we talk about exceptions to this under 2 years old, and talking about manufacturer specs, is there an exception to a child that's under 2 years old having to comply with everything that you just said?
So if they are larger than what the manufacturer of the car seat allows, each car seat, they'll have stickers on them. You can look them up online as well, but it will tell you what the restrictions are for rear facing, they usually have height and weight, and what they have to be able to turn around as well. So if they're under 2 years of age, but they've exceeded the height and weight for rear facing, they would be needed to turn around to use that car seat.
Okay, excellent. Let's move up in age beyond 2 years, and there's a weight issue, correct? Where can you start to graduate to front-facing car seats and perhaps even the booster seat type device we talk about?
So there are some car seats that are what they call convertible, so it could be rear facing, and then you turn it around and you front face based on their height and weight and age. Once they've turned around, depending on whether they still need to be in that 5-point harness versus just a belt positioning booster seat would depend on their age and their weight. So their 55 pounds is kind of the average to be able to get out of that 5-point harness and be able to use a belt positioning booster.
Okay, excellent. Now let's kind of move towards the existing laws, if you will, and refresh everybody's memory on that too. So everybody has to wear a seatbelt, correct?
Correct.
Talking about you're beyond the ages and the restrictions for car seats and booster seats. How does it work if you're, an operator of a vehicle? Obviously, you need to be secured, and then you have somebody who's a passenger with you, and they need to be secured as well. Talk about responsibility for me. Who is responsible for your passenger being secured properly in a seatbelt?
So depending on the age of your passenger, so if your passenger is under the age of 18, the operator of the vehicle is responsible for the passengers. The exception to that would be in a taxi cab where they are not responsible for their passenger. So if the passenger in a taxi cab is over the age of 18, that passenger can be cited. But if they're under 18, the driver cannot be held responsible.
Excellent. You already talked about the magic age of 12 years old, right? You threw that in there as far as they have to be in the back seat.
Correct.
12 years old and under. So if I have a kid who's 10 or 11 years old, they need to be in the back seat.
They should be in the back seat.
Yeah.
The exception would be if they've exceeded the 100-pound weight limit. They could, if there was no other option for them to be in the back seat, they could move to the front seat, because now the weight and height of them is suitable for the front seat seat belt. But typically age 12 and under should remain in the back seat at all times.
Excellent. And finally, we'll close out with a couple of exceptions. You talked about taxi cabs, limousines being an exception. How about mail carriers? Do they have to wear their seatbelt?
They don't.
They do.
So not while they're actually in the process of delivering mail. So if they're during their duties of delivering mail, they do not have to wear the seatbelt. You'll notice that most of them still do, but they don't have to. The other exception would be newspaper deliveries while they're in the process of delivering the newspapers.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. That kind of wraps everything up as far as the law goes. Let's start to look at some of the car seats and how that works and some of the hands-on stuff of how it looks like. Follow us.
Okay, so if you need your car seat looked at, whether you're having a new child and your first time you're going to be putting your car seat in, or you've already had it installed and you're graduating to the next size and you just want to get it checked to make sure it's installed properly, you can call the Augusta Police Department and set up an appointment to come get that car seat looked at. We have 3 officers that are certified to review those installs. We ask that you make an appointment just to make sure that someone is available at the time that you're going to be here, but you don't have to wait for a car seat checkup. You can call anytime to make that appointment. So we're going to take a look at a car seat now just to do a little checkup on it and see how it's working. Okay, so this car seat is a rear facing. This would actually be what they call a convertible, where it's not an infant car seat. It's a car seat that can graduate and actually move from rear facing to forward facing. So it has instructions already on it. To know if your car seat is usable for these options, you want to make sure that all the labels on it are still readable so that you can make sure that you're looking at it correctly. This is a 5-point harness car seat, so when it does move forward, it still meets the restriction that up till the 55 weight range or older are still going to be within that 5-point harness. So this car seat, what we do to check is at the belt path, we're checking to make sure that it does not move more than 1 inch side to side. So you can see my belt path is right here. So if it moves more than 1 inch side to side, which this one's pretty wiggly, or front and back. So it doesn't move out too much, but it does move side to side. There are options. Every seat and every in vehicles, they're all different. Car seats are different. So sometimes we have to make adjustments to make it fit properly according to the instructions. You can see that this person used a towel, which does work, but towels can compress. So we use pool noodles, which are acceptable, to try and prop that seat up to get it in the right position so that it's properly installed and gets a tight, secure fit. Okay, so now we're taking a look at a front-facing car seat. So you can see that this one is actually installed using the seat belt instead of the latch system. See, most car seats come now with the latch system, which most vehicles are equipped for, but you want to use one or the other. So this car seat has been installed with the the seat belt that's already in the vehicle. So the belt path, again, this is nice and secure. It's not moving. Okay, so the belt path, it still has the 5-point harness. So this child is still small enough to fit within that restriction. It's always best too that instead of graduating them to the next step, to remain them in what the most secure seat we can until they have definitely outweighed or outgrown that seat. There is going to be a PDF available with the new National Highway Safety Booklet about car seats. Okay, it'll have tips about installing your car seat. It has referencing the new laws to check as far as when rear facing, when front facing. So check that out for more information on how to better install your car seat.
The Augusta Police Department encourages you to review the following information. And if you would like to, contact the Maine Bureau of Highway Safety at 207-626-3840 for further instructions, or contact Augusta PD, 207-626-2370. Thank you.
Okay, that was great information, Officer Wiggin. As always, you did not disappoint us. I knew it would be another exciting episode of Chat with the Chief. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.